on this computer. Okay. All right, guys. We have a special guest tonight. We have Nicole on the call for us. You saw I announced her in the team page. She is a newer 5-star diamond. Really, you've only been working your business for like a year, which is insane. She's already elite for this year, you guys, which means she has a team that's like crushing it behind her, that's like running with her, making Success Club, ranking up, doing all the things, taking action. And I reached out to her because I saw her announced on the roundtable. And I always want to hear from like those newer coaches who just hit 5-star, because I feel like the energy is just like really high and they're stoked about life and like what they're doing. And that's all like things that you guys need to hear, and kind of helps you see like how they did it, how you can see yourself doing it, and kind of build that confidence and that vision for yourself by just knowing like if someone else can, you can. So I asked her to speak on the call. I'm so excited that you're here. I'm going to let you take it away. I'll let you do whatever you want. Like when I ask people to come speak on the call, I really just want them to share what's on their heart, share what they want to speak about, because that's when you get the most passionate and that's when we get the most out of it. So I'm going to let you take it away.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to chat with you guys. I am Nicole Gorby. I live in Michigan, and I'm under Jamie Innes. If you guys know of her, she's amazing. She is top 15-ish, top 25-ish right now as we end the year. But yeah, I have kind of grown pretty quickly just this past year. And I really launched my business in January 2018. And when I say launch, that's because that's when I started to take it seriously. But I was actually a hobby coach for a whole year before that. So I like to share that because you guys might have somebody on your team that isn't taking this seriously, but there's still hope for them. So don't like cut people short, because they just might not be in the mindset right now, or the timing that might not be right for them right now. They might have self-doubt, all the excuses, who knows, right? So, just make sure you keep the faith in your team and people that are just kind of chugging along on their own journey, because they could come out of nowhere and really take off like I did. So that whole year, 2017, it really was that for me. It was, okay, like I love this. This is doing so much for me. But my family wasn't super supportive, and my husband was not supportive at all. And I knew that getting to Emerald meant signing him up. And I knew some of those things, but I didn't know the ins and outs very well. And so when 80 Day Obsession launched in January of 2018, and I actually had a really great month of Success Club, was when Jamie reached out to me and she was like, hey girl at SC12, what's up? Like, you need to be at Emerald. Like, let's get this party started. And so she really kind of took me under her wing, because I did not actually sign up with her. I actually rolled up to her. So I was kind of a new face to her at that point, and I had been on my own pretty much for 6 months prior to 80 Day Obsession launch. So just another thing to keep in mind, if you have people cancel in your downline, like make sure you're paying attention to them. But anyways, so I hit Emerald shortly after that, February, I think, of that year. And then Jamie had announced a Diamond Retreat for June of that year. She made a deadline, so I pushed and hit Diamond. I wanted on that trip. So that was really why I hit Diamond. It was really just for me, really just for a trip and just to see what I could do with this. But that was the first time that I took the vitals seriously. Like, that was the first time that somebody had said to me, girl, you need to do your tracker. Like, you need to do the vital behaviors. What are you reading for personal development? Before that, I had read nothing. I didn't have time, right? I was working full time. I was a marketing up for an insurance company, by the way, and I traveled all the time. I traveled across the state of Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, traveled out west and out east quite a bit. So I was very busy. I have 2 little boys as well, and they're in sports, and that keeps us on our toes a lot. I'm married, I have a dog, like all of the things, right? Like, I did have a lot going on, but it really took for me to decide that I was going to make time for the vital behaviors and actually do them, that I really took this seriously. And I quickly saw how much the vital behaviors made an impact on my business, because I had been sharing it for that whole year before, but I hadn't been actually inviting people. Like, I hadn't actually been reaching out to people. And I hadn't been consistent in sharing my journey either. Like, when Jamie said, hey, you need to be posting once a day, I was like, what? No, nobody wants to see me once a day. Like, that's way too much. And she's like, no, really, you need to at least post once a day. You need to get in your stories daily. And so, it took her like nudging me a little bit for me to kind of get out of my comfort zone and actually do that stuff. So doing the personal development, showing up on my social media consistently, inviting, reaching out, you guys, it comes back to the vital behaviors every single time. And you all hear it all the time. I'm sure your coach is constantly pounding that in your head, but you actually just have to believe it and get super consistent with it, whatever that is for you. So, when I started, I was following the, what is it? Own Your Day, or one of the trackers. It wasn't the BAT tracker, but I have used the BAT tracker. So just like filling in bubbles, right? I would fill in all the bubbles every day, and then that was my day. So it was, 15 to 20 invites or whatever it was, around the same number of reach outs, checking all the boxes, checking in with my community, doing all of those just simple things. So I would check all the boxes every single day, and I hit diamond in like 10 weeks, I think it was. So pretty fast and furious, but it was just as simple as that. It was just as simple as taking the time to do the things. I'd be up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd be up until 10:30 at night, and repeat, right? Like, I didn't have a lot of time during the day, especially because I drove a lot for my job, to really like sit at a desk and do this stuff. Like, I had to make my mornings a priority. And by the way, I'm not a morning person, so I don't even want to hear that excuse come out of your mouth or pop into your little heads, because I am not a morning person. But I had to, listen to the book, The 5-Second Rule. I had to read the book, Miracle Morning. I had to get in the right mindset to get myself into that routine. So it took work. It took time. It took several weeks of me trying and getting consistent. And now you will never not see me up at 5 o'clock in the morning, even as a full-time Beachbody coach. Like, I left my job this summer, and I am still up at 5 o'clock in the morning doing the things, because first of all, I want my team to know that I'm still in the trenches with them. But second of all, I get so much more done when I can use every minute of my day. So why would I waste that time in the morning before my kids are up? So creating that morning routine, no excuses in the evening. I haven't watched a TV show in I don't know how long. I don't watch Netflix. I don't watch movies. I don't watch shows. If that's something that's important to you, like, schedule it, put it somewhere in your schedule where you can kind of treat yourself, but that's not something that is important, really. Maybe if that's time with your spouse, sit down with your checklist and knock some stuff out while you're sitting together and he or she is watching a show. But yeah, mornings absolutely are a secret sauce. I mean, it's so true. And if you can get just a really great routine going, for me, the first thing I do is pour Energize. Duh, everybody I'm sure can agree. The second thing I do is I read my personal development, I do some gratitude, and I'll do a brain dump. So anything that is like circling around in my head that I need to do, I get it down on paper so that I can knock that out after my workout. Because for me, personal development and my workout are first thing. Doing me first, right? And then I can pour into messages, reach outs, whatever else is on my to-do list for the day, checking into my community, checking in on my people, all of those things. But I always pour into myself first. And I never let my workout slide to another part of the day, because I want that energy boost and I want to feel really good about the start to my day to make everything happen. And so for me, that is super, super important. And that's our job, right? We're selling Beachbody workouts. So hopefully we're working out every day. Like, that's a non-negotiable. Hopefully you're picking a program and you're running with it. obviously with the 80-day obsession launch, and that was the launch of my business, I know how important new launches are and new programs are. So right now I'm doing the work, and I'm starting to promote bar, and those are things that are also non-negotiables for me, and my team all rallies with me to get on board with them as well. So hopefully you all are doing the same. So after I hit Diamond, I went to Summit that year for the first time, and that really changed me. So I always want to share that, because I think Summit is so, so important for you to go to and for you to promote on your team, for you to, you know, make sure people on your team are taking advantage of Success Club Starter or Success Starter, hitting that their first 3 months and earning their spot. I just feel like that really solidifies that ticket for them right from the get-go and gives them that confidence. But Summit for me was the first time I was like, okay, like I thought I kind of wanted to do something with this, but now I actually think I want to do this full time someday. So I told Jamie at Summit last year, like, hey, next summer by Summit, I want to do this full time. Like, that is my goal. She was like, oh my gosh, okay, let's do it. So I worked my ass off, you guys. I worked hard every single day. I upped those numbers, those reach outs, those invites, you know, 10x rule. I'm sure you all have heard of that, but just, you know, upped those numbers. And I, you know, believed that I was going to get there someday. And I believed that it was going to be next summer. I wanted to enjoy the summer with my kids, and I wanted to enjoy the summer with my sister. She's a teacher, so she's getting summers off every year, and I always was like, I hate you. So I wanted that time with her and just be able to do whatever I wanted. So that drove me big time. And so, yeah, that vision is very, very powerful if you can find something that really drives you and that will get your butt up in the morning. You've got to really, like, you know, believe that it's going to happen. Like, I would say to myself, I am going to be a full-time coach next summer. I need to step up my game today. And I would say that to myself every day, every morning, even when I didn't want to. And I have been wearing a bracelet on my wrist that says following my dream. And when I was driving all those miles every single day, 400 miles approximately per day, I would look at my wrist and it would say following my dream. And I just, you know, would continue to remind myself what I was working for, even when it was so, so hard sometimes. And then, where was I going with that? So just having that vision. Oh, I was going to say, so this time last year, in November, I was still a diamond, kind of a rocky diamond. I only had 2 real business builders, quote unquote. I had one girl who I met on social media who is one of my best friends now, and she's a rock star, but she was, you know, she had a fashion blog, and she really let like her image hold her back, even though she could have been super successful really quickly. She was just an Emerald coach for almost a whole year before she took it seriously and decided to go for it. So I had her and I were doing challenge groups together, and it was great and everything. And then along came another girl in October and another girl in November who both hit Emerald fairly quickly. So, you know, I started to have a little team going, but that was just 1 year ago. Like, that was literally last November when I only had just a couple people plugging away with me. And I was doing monthly challenge groups then, you know, start, finish, redo, you know, start, finish, repeat. And I didn't have time for that. Like, that was pulling a lot of energy out of me. I was doing all the graphics and redoing all the posts and everything every single month. And I heard a national wake up call, little plug for the national wake up call, right? I heard somebody talk about their ongoing community. And so I decided to change things up last December and do an ongoing community instead of a challenge group. And that gave me the opportunity to give new coaches responsibility, to give new coaches a place to invite people to that they felt confident inviting to, and that they didn't have to run their own challenge group, or that it wasn't just my challenge group. So giving them some skin in the game really changed a lot for me, I think, and just giving people leadership. So if you're running challenge groups, whether it is monthly or ongoing, make sure you incorporate ways for your team to contribute, whether that's making graphics, creating posts, contributing to ideas for the monthly theme, whatever it is. Like, give them tasks. Let them know that you believe that they have the ability to do this with you. Even if they're not like technically a coach and it's somebody that you just see really showing up all the time in your groups, just say, hey girl, would you mind helping me out next month? I could really use another person to post a few graphics for me, or to make graphics, or would you be interested in helping me out at all? And just kind of throwing it that way, and not even like pressuring them to coach, but just like helping you out, can be a really great way to get people, like, just to get their feet wet with coaching. And when they're showing up in your community as a leader, then they have a little bit of more of that confidence that they can actually do this. And then hopefully they'll start inviting people. And then you can always, throw the plug in for the discount, all of that good stuff. But I just think that has worked so many times for me, and it has evolved over time. But yeah, doing that community really helped me out a lot. It saved me so much time. I don't post any of the posts now. I just go live in there a couple times a week, and I'm doing my check-ins with everybody else, but I'm not doing any of the posts. Like, huge time saver. If you can delegate things like that, then that will save you time to do your reach outs and your invites, because those are really the key to your success. So in January of this year, I was like, okay, crap, I'm still at Diamond, and I'm not going to be able to quit my job if I'm sitting at Diamond in 6 months. So I need to get this party started. So I, for the first time, went live in my team page and shared my vision. I shared with them what 5-star meant to me, what elite meant to me, and how that was my key to leaving my job, and how I needed them to be on board with me so that I could follow my passion, and so that I could do this with them full time and help more people and help them be more successful. And I just really shared my heart, and it really, I was emotional. It was like all of the things. And, for the first time, let them know, what my goals were. And that was scary for me. And I don't know why, but it's so, so important that you share that, and that you have a place to share that, a team page of your own, or something where you can, add your people to along the way, even if it's discount coaches for a while. And I had people step up. And I also shared that I wanted to do my elite retreat in Waco, Texas, and go to the Magnolia Farms and share that, trip of a lifetime that I had always had on my bucket list, with my people, and I had one girl be like, I'm in, I want to go to Waco. And I had another girl say, oh, dang, I didn't know that there was that much income potential. I'm in. I had my girl who had been Emerald for months and months and months be like, well, if everybody else is going to hit Diamond, I'm going to hit Diamond. So I just had all of these people rally, all of these girls that were just kind of hanging out, Emerald, maybe, not even, kind of like step up their game. And then one that came along right after that, who was just competitive and was like, well, if these girls are hitting numbers, I'm going to hit them, So literally in January, I didn't have two of the girls who are part of my elite team now. So Katy hit it first. She signed up in February. She hit Diamond in April. Super fast, right? Because I was on a mission at that point. I wasn't playing around at that point. I was doing coach sneak peeks like every week, and I was doing, so many more trainings than I had been before. I was doing push pods. I was doing incentives, and I gave them a date too. I said June 1st is when you need to be Diamond in order to qualify for our elite retreat in Waco. So I did put a deadline in, and that's super important. And then I had Lauren hit it shortly after. Jenna hit it on the same day, and then Kim hit it a month later. So I had 4 girls on my team hit Diamond in just a matter of 3 months, April, May, June, 3 months. And then I was able to open my second business center and made that Diamond in 4 weeks. So here we are sitting at 5-star elite, and just rocking and rolling. So, I share all of that because you might be sitting in the trenches right now, either at Diamond or at Emerald, trying to push for Diamond and not seeing like the long-term vision and not believing that this can happen for you. But things can happen super fast. So you've got to like believe in that, and that your timing is different than my timing and somebody else's timing. It can all work out very, very differently, but it will happen as long as you're being consistent and doing the vital behaviors every day, and as long as you are looking for the right people. And I think that finding your avatar and really knowing who that is, what she looks like, what her Enneagram is, I believe in a lot of that stuff to be part of my success. So, hopefully you guys have had trainings about your avatar, your Enneagram, things that really can help you find your people, because for me, like, that was so, so important and so key. And especially for me to stop wasting time, like liking all of these people's pages who were never going to have any interest in knowing who I am or have anything to relate to me on. So, I look for Midwest moms who work full time, who have all, the busy excuses, and who maybe are trying to do some sort of workout thing on their own, but they're not getting results yet. So I'm definitely, super specific about who I look for when I'm recruiting either a new member or a coach. Most of my new members become coaches, so I'm always looking for people who are going to join my team. So that's really all I wanted to share with you guys, was just my story. But it really comes down to belief. So you've got to believe in yourself. I could have stopped in 2017 when my husband was like, why are you posting a sweaty selfie of you in your sports bra on social media for everybody? I could have stopped then. I could have said, ooh, you're right. Like, that's maybe not okay. But something was pulling in my heart, and something was telling me that I needed to push forward and I needed to share this. And every single day I get messages from people thanking me for reaching out to them, thanking me for believing in them, thanking me for not giving up on them. And that is so much more rewarding than any of the negativity that I get even today. So that's my heart. I'm here for questions. If you guys have any, I'm happy to answer them. I'm an open book, so feel free to ask away.
Awesome. Yeah, we do have a question in the chat already. It says, how do you start conversations with people who look like your people?
So I'll go to their page and stalk them out a little bit for sure, and see if I can find anything to relate to them on. Even if it's as simple as your shoes. Oh my gosh, your shoes are so cute. Where did you get those? I'm shoe obsessed. Or right now I'm kind of connecting with a lot of ladies who have been in Waco recently. Just, oh my gosh, I was just in Waco too at Magnolia. What a dream trip. What was your favorite part? Or sometimes for destinations that I have coming up, I'll look and see people that were there recently or this year, and I'll just say, hey, I'm going to go to Miami or whatever. Miami in October. I saw that you were there recently. Do you have any suggestions on hotels? Where did you stay? Any restaurants that you liked? Or, oh my gosh, how old are your kids? They're so cute. Mine are 7 and 9. Does that help? Just really starting with a personal conversation, like not jumping right into Beachbody. Like, you're really just trying to make a friendship. If you saw somebody on the street and you were passing them, you wouldn't be like, hey girl, you want to join Beachbody? You'd be like, oh my gosh, where'd you get those shoes? Like, that's a normal conversation. And I think that we get in our heads about being behind the screen and it being okay to just like throw mud at the wall and see if it's going to stick. But you've got to actually like relate to people first. And you've got to let them know that you care about them, and just kind of give them a little nudge to see if they can connect with you back. It's all about connecting first.
Shannon said, how do you get new coaches started? So what's like your onboarding process and
Yeah, so I have a video that is like a new coach call, I think it's just called, and kind of run through all of the basics in that video, like a YouTube link, and kind of keep it high level, but definitely hit on all of the things, right? You know, what kind of to expect in a day, what the vital behaviors are, just a little bit of everything, I guess. And then I'll say, watch this video, and then what day next week and what time works best for you so that we can chat and go over any of your questions that you have from that video. And then I have my Coach University every single month, usually the second week of the month, that I run for 2 weeks. I'm thinking about pulling that back to 1 week, so just throwing that out there. And I really make it a lot more action oriented, and I get them using the tools like Share a Cart. All right, today here's a little bit about Share a Cart. I want you to send one Share a Cart today and throw a screenshot in the comments so that I can see who it was. If you don't have anybody that's interested right now, then I want to see your husband's Share a Cart. And make sure you get it set up as a coach, because he's going to be a coach on your team someday. And if that's not today, it's going to be later. So at least you'll get some practice with this. So I'm kind of like throwing that little nugget in there, like you've got somebody, you've got your spouse, or you've got your mom, or you've got, you know, fill in the blank. So to get them using Share a Cart. And then I take a couple leaders from my team and have them each talk about the vital behaviors. So each one of them talks about personal development. One of them talks about reaching out and inviting, etc. So hearing from different people, I think is really helpful too, not just me. So team up with a couple people if you don't have something like this already, and you can run it together every month. It doesn't have to be just you. This is definitely something that, again, you can share the responsibilities and not be bogged down with a lot of work. What are the other things? Just inviting, before and after pictures are a requirement from a university. You need to show those. And then I need to see like a caption or some sort of, you know, content around your before picture, so that we can talk about how to announce that you're a coach now and how you're going to be sharing this journey going forward. What else? Like just challenge pack graphics, things like that are going to be something that they're going to use a lot, but it's more action oriented. Like, here's an example. Now comment below with yours so that we're getting practice. Tag me in your stories today. I want people to know that you're doing your workout today or whatever. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, so that's 2 weeks long right now. Like I said, I think I'm going to scrunch that into one, but I run it every single month, and it's open up to my downline, so my coaches can add their coaches in there, and we pop a lot of emeralds from that 2 weeks. So it's been very successful for us. I do also have an emerald push pod. So in my team page, I'll say, you know, at the start of the month, okay, is anybody ready to push for emerald this month? If I get anybody that says they do, then I stick them in the emerald push pod. And then each month I just rename that push pod a different month name. And the girls that haven't hit it the previous month are still in there. And then the girls that do hit it, I'll shout them out, congratulate them, and remove them for the group from the chat. And then each month I do a drawing for everybody that hit emerald that month. So it makes it fun. It makes it a little bit exciting. And you know, the girls that are continuing to go through the group month after month and seeing all these other girls like hit it and win these prizes and stuff, they eventually step up their game. So I do start a new one each month. Yeah.
Shaylee also said, how long do you wait until you get a relationship, into a relationship to invite them? Do you invite them to coaching or a challenge group?
It really depends totally on how the conversation's going. I really try to ask them, so what do you do for workouts? Or are you into fitness or something like that pretty early on? So
Mhm.
usually about the third 3 to 5 questions in, I'm asking them something about fitness. And then that leads me into my next group or whatever I have going on, the next launch that's happening. It feels like we've had a lot of launches lately. So it's been, usually I'm talking about a specific program. And I don't really invite to coaching specifically unless I see that they are like definitely coaching material. They're already sharing something about fitness. Maybe they're a runner and they're already kind of sharing their running journey. But I am very, what's the word? I don't know, consistent about talking about coaching in my stories and talking about it in my feed as well, and always kind of giving that opportunity out there in my stories to join me in a coach sneak peek or a coach info group. I'm doing a free apprenticeship right now for the first time. So I'm always kind of opening that up, and I don't want to waste my time. So I'm not going to like really pull people to be coaches. Like if they find that interesting, they're going to give me their email, or at least that's how I have found things to work for me. So if they give me their email, like I find them serious, and then I take it to the next level and jump right into that conversation with them. Hopefully that helps. But most of my people start out as challengers, and then after they finish their first program, especially if they've been consistent, then I'll invite them to coach right away.
Awesome. I love that. I mean, really, that's how I started out my entire business. Was I invited to challenge groups, people got results, and then you're like, hey, do you want to do this? And it's those people who get that result, in the first place, that then become believers, that become advocates, that become the best coaches because they have that power of belief behind the product and what they're doing. So yeah, unless somebody literally, like, I look at them and I'm like, whoa, this girl's like totally into fitness and should be making money online, then I start with challenge groups. Any other questions, you guys? We did really good. It's 9:33, so that was like good timing.
Perfect.
Yeah, everybody just is saying thank you. Thank you so much, Nicole. We really appreciate you taking the time. You guys, I did record this, so I will throw the recording up in the team page probably tomorrow morning, since I'm going to finish out the sale that we have going on. Yes, thanks. Great info. Great info. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome call. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, I loved it. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And I'll share.
And the year's strong, you guys. Pedal to the metal. Like, don't just pull the brakes because it's the end of the year. Like, push hard. You guys have, I'm sure you have big goals. Like, push for them. Don't give up. Even if you didn't hit it this week or whatever for the bonus cutoff, like, just push hard and start the year off strong. You can do it.
On that note, thank you guys. Everybody have a good night.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Nicole.